All right. Next question I got for you, Harrison, could stir up some controversy.
Oh boy.
Maybe not. Who is the true home run king? Sadahara O, Hank Aaron, or Barry Bonds?
This is so loaded. What? You're just trying to piss people off tonight?
I don't know. I just like I saw this and I'm like, all three of these guys are completely different, right? So
Yeah.
O has 801 career home runs in Japan. We all know Hank Aaron, 755, and you got Barry Bonds sitting at 763. So who's the true home run king here?
Whew. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with this one. So, I mean, obviously, the true home run king, based strictly on the number, is Bonds. Um, Sadahara O, all due respect, tip your cap to you, but what you did overseas doesn't matter. It wasn't Major League Baseball. And you'll never convince me that they're equal. You know, they're not the same. Bonds obviously has the most. What I will say though is when I think of like the true home run king, I still think of Hank Aaron. And I think of that because not because of the Peds and all that, but Hank Aaron did this in an era where it wasn't built around the home run. Barry Bonds did this in the era that was built for the home run. It was steroids, it was small ballparks, it was the juiced balls. Like this, his era was built for home runs. Hank Aaron's was not. And he did it anyways. So to me, I still think like when you look at the accomplishment, what Hank Aaron did to me is more impressive than what Bonds did. Now, I still think Bonds could have gone and hit 700 home runs in Aaron's time because he was that good. But it was a completely different time and stage of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with any of those points. I don't even have an answer to this question, and I proposed it.
Albert Pujols.
Yeah, I don't know. 801 home runs at any level is impressive, and even if it is, equivalent to AA, right? Japanese League Baseball, it's still 801 home runs, man.
Yeah.
That's a boatload of round trippers. That's a lot of miles you're running around those bases.
That's a few.
So, I mean, I never got to see him play, only legend, right? But 801 is wild. It's Bonds for me, man. I know all the stuff that comes with it. I have been on this podcast saying that it is time to turn the page. And we're never going to be able to start turning the page until we start to acknowledge what those guys did in that era. Now, say what you want about it, right? But it wasn't illegal in the league at that time. And he still had to do it. He still had to square it up. For everything you said about Aaron, you're not wrong. I mean, you could crown both of them, and I don't think any fan would disagree with you, right?
Yep.
But Bonds is easily the best bat to ball guy I've ever seen in my life. Steroids or not. I've never seen a swing that compact and square up a baseball as often as Barry Bonds. So for me, yes, steroids, all that stuff, but if the baseball record books has him as the home run king, he's the home run king. That's where I'm kind of going with it. But Aaron's definitely there. They're both the home run king in their own right. So I know I'm kind of straddling the fence there, and it's not really fair, but it's I don't think you can go wrong with either one at this point. Just depends on how hard up you are to not acknowledge that steroids was a part of baseball history. And at this point, it's baseball history. It was 30 years ago. 30 years ago. It's history. It's time to turn the page, acknowledge what they did, acknowledge the era, and move on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll always acknowledge Barry Bonds as the home run king. But I feel like what Hank did is just more impressive because of the era. But at the same time, yeah, good. Mike Reed did a comment. If the NL had a DH, Bonds probably gets 800. He might have. I mean, there's very few players in baseball history that hit at such a rate. And the one thing too to think about with all this too is you got Babe Ruth sitting there at 714, and that was back in an era where guys were working jobs in the off season and traveling by train, and there was no nutrition, there was no training, the ballparks were garbage, and the bats were telephone poles.
Fair.
I mean, you could also argue that man, Babe Ruth had it really hard too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it doesn't help that he was throwing down hot dogs and beers, between games and during the innings. But and he pitched too. Apparently, people like when you pitch too. That's a big thing right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, these guys did it in eras where it was. I mean, look at what Babe Ruth did in the era he did it in. Nobody else was doing anything like it.
No.
I mean, he was one of one back in that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting when you look at that list of the guys that were from way back. They were doing it at a time when it was not normal to hit home runs.
Yeah, Brandon brings up another name that I love. He's one of my favorite baseball players ever. Is Josh Gibson.
Yeah,
the rumors on him saying that he hit 800 career home runs, but they don't have the stats for it. So, like, Josh Gibson's all over the place when it comes to official stats, because I think Baseball Reference has him at like 200 something, but that's all that they could, officially find. I know they're still kind of working on the Negro League stats and all of that stuff, but
yeah, he's at 166.
166, and there's no way he only hit 166 career homers, but
and he batted 373.
Yeah, that's just all right.
mean,
Forrest says, I always refuse to answer this question straightforward. I always say Rafael Belliard.
I love it.
Fair.
I mean, Josh Gibson had one season where he hit 417.
Yeah.
With a 500 OBP.
Mm-hmm. That's nuts.
This is a good point too from Michael, where the old rules, if the ball landed foul after it left the ballpark, it was a foul ball. Ruth actually had home runs taken away. I mean,
but he also had some added because they bounced a ground rule double was also a home run.
That was still how many he was playing.
Yeah, so I think it kind of washes out. Curtis says Aaron, and that's it. I agree. I mean, I don't disagree with anybody's take here. They're all correct. Aaron was doing some of his work during the greatest era of pitching. That's a fair point too. 64 to 72.
The game was built for pitching back then. It was a pitcher's league.
Yeah. Chad goes numbers, Bonds, overall better home run hitter. Aaron, guy never hit more than 50 in a season, which is crazy. That goes to his longevity. That goes to his steadiness, his consistency. So, yeah.
Neither did Barry except for that one season.
Yeah.
But, you could argue that, Hank Aaron, he had, was it 1,300 or 1,400 more plate appearances than Barry. It's a couple seasons worth. Is Hank Aaron one of those longevity guys? He got to where he got to because he played forever. I know those drive you crazy, Nick. Guys like Harold Baines, it's in the Hall of Fame because he played a long time.
Yeah.
You could argue Hank Aaron played forever, and that helps too.
Right. Yeah. Brandon goes, are you doing really hot takes so we don't pay attention to if you have any spelling mistakes? And I was just looking to see if I did. I don't know if I did on this one, but I'm trying not to. But no, just thought this would be fun to kind of spark discussion with you guys. That's all. So yeah, so we're kind of split on this, which I kind of thought we would be. John Carter goes, I vote Bonds for what it's worth, which isn't much. And that's fair. I think a lot of people are in that camp, and that's fine. It's not wrong. So just like Hank Aaron's not wrong here.